What up, what up, what up? Dolphins got a new starting quarterback. Dolphins got the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend at home. What to expect from our new starting quarterback? We'll get into it. And don't put your expectations too high. He was a 7th rounder, right? And what's this Dolphins team going to look like after we've been eliminated from the playoffs and Tua's been benched?
Big C in the house. You know the name. PHINS Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. PHINS Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. PHINS Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it aqua tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just load an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the PHINS Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everyone doing this morning? Good morning. Miller, good morning. Lombardo, good morning. Marcos, good morning. Josem, good morning. Dolphin Don, good morning. Listen, this is the first week of the post Tua Tagovailoa era. What should the Miami Dolphins expect? The Dolphins have a new starting quarterback in Quinn Ewers. Is this a 3-game trial? Is this the quarterback of the future? We shall find out, hopefully, in the next 3 games, what we have with Quinn Ewers. A lot of questions to be answered for these Miami Dolphins. A lot of questions. This is going to be a very interesting time for the Miami Dolphins. I know we'd love to be in the middle of a playoff rush, a playoff push, trying to win a division right now. But it is what it is. This is where we're at, and a lot of changes coming to this franchise, hopefully, because the status quo will not be allowed here anymore. The status quo is not good enough anymore, from the fearless words of our fearless leader, Stephen Ross. Man, I don't know what to expect, really. I really don't know what to expect. Do I think Quinn Ewers has potential? Sure. Do I think Quinn Ewers is going to come in and just wow us? No, I think Quinn Ewers is going to struggle, which is typical for a young quarterback. You know, you do have some quarterbacks that come into the league nowadays because college programs run such, pro style offenses that they come in and they have success. But that's far and few between. That's a rarity more than a regular thing that happens. But I do have hope for the kid. He could save us a lot of anguish. He could help us out a great deal if he could come in and be a serviceable quarterback. If he can come in and, not even win us football games, but not be the reason we lose football games, that's a step up from the Tua Tagovailoa we've had this year. That's a step up from the Tua that we've had this year. Now, Tua in the past, I would say Tua used to help us win. But this year's Tua was completely different. We won in spite of Tua. Now, if Quinn Ewers can be that bridge until we're able to draft a hopefully game-changing quarterback, that'd be great. That'd be great. So my expectations for Quinn Ewers aren't too high. Hopefully, at the very least, he can be the bridge. In best case scenario, he's the future starter. I'm not going to count the kid out. I'm not going to say that he don't have that he couldn't become the starting quarterback for the future of the Miami Dolphins. But at the very least, we need him to be a reliable bridge quarterback until we're able to get our Josh Allen, to get our Pat Mahomes, to hopefully get one of those caliber quarterbacks in the future for the Miami Dolphins. Let's check out some of these comments before I get too far behind. I'm ecstatic, man. Feel like we're just getting rid of the flu. Got to pay the doc. Only reason you'd want Tua to start is to prey on the downfall of the draft pick with how much we need any pick, but 25 plus will be okay because it's best player available. First off, we're picking way before 25. We're picking way before 25. I don't see us picking past 15. Because you got to remember, the football team that we've seen win 4 straight, win 5 of 6, we're not going to see that football team anymore. We're not going to see that football team anymore. For instance, Jordan Brooks is dealing with injury that if we were going for a playoff push right now, he'd probably play. But there's a good chance Jordan Brooks sits out this week. Minkah Fitzpatrick dealing with an injury that if we were competitive and we had a chance for the playoffs, he'd probably play. There's a good chance he sits out this week. So we're not going to see the same football team. We're not going to see the same football team. This team is going to be not as near as good as they were. And then you got to add on the fact that we have been eliminated, what that does to the morale of the football team. This team was coming together. They were trying to make a push. They were trying to believe in each other. And now that that's no longer an option, that's going to affect the play of this Miami Dolphins team. So if you're expecting to see the team that, won 4 straight, you're not going to see that team again. And even if Quinn Ewers comes out and outperforms Tua Tagovailoa, that's cool. That's great. But I'm telling you, the rest of this team You're going to see guys sitting. You're going to be seeing guys get put on injured reserve. You're going to see guys, not risking the injury. And we can talk about that. Mike McDaniel said Quinn Ewers gives this team the best chance to win. Blase, blase, blah. The real reason that Tua Tagovailoa is the third string quarterback is because they do not want him getting injured and guaranteeing any more money to Tua than they have to. That is the real reason, that Tua, yes, they want to take a look at Quinn Ewers, see what they got. Yes, they want to explore their options. But the reason that Tua is not the backup quarterback at the very least, you don't go from, it doesn't make sense, does it? All these weeks, Mike McDaniel saying Tua gives us the best chance to win, and now all of a sudden he's the third stringer. It's all a money game. It's all what's financially good, best for the Miami Dolphins at this point. And you got to do what's best for the team. And I get it. I absolutely get it. What do you mean you expect him to struggle? He ran a copied offense in Texas. He, in my opinion, has just as much potential as Shador. Both were touted first-round picks, but only Ewers fell due to injury. Listen, I still expect him to struggle. Shador struggled. I'm not saying that he's not going to see good moments. And I'm not saying that he's not necessarily, I think he matches Mike McDaniel's offense. Quinn Ewers is best at them short, intermediate throws, getting into a rhythm, just like Tua Tagovailoa was. Now, I don't think he's as accurate as Tua was, but I think they have similar strengths, honestly. Did you catch his press conference, Quinn, the gunslinger Ewers? They gave him a nickname already. Laugh out loud. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning. So who is Quinn Ewers? Who is the new quarterback for the Miami Dolphins? Quinn Ewers, he's from Texas, obviously. Was one of the top prospects ever to come out of Texas. I think there was only 4 players ever ranked higher than him that came out of Texas. One of the highest ranked quarterbacks ever to come out of high school. One of the highest ranked quarterbacks ever to come out of high school. His dream school was the University of Texas. He graduated early from high school, trying to get some of that nil money. Attended Ohio State, did not play there. I think he played a couple snaps, trying to make some money. Then transferred back to the to Texas and to play for his beloved Longhorns. Quinn Ewers was a top quarterback prospect. He was one of the faces of college football, and kind of like Ollie Gordon, he just his senior year left a lot on the plate, a lot to be desired. And that's why he fell so far. Quinn Ewers was a 7th round pick by us. In reality, he was probably the 4th best quarterback in this draft. So make it make sense. A lot of other quarterbacks were drafted on potential, whereas if you were just drafted on skill and production, Quinn Ewers probably been the 4th quarterback off the board. Bro, they benched Tua because the season is over. All these content creators and sport analysts just blowing stuff up for no reason. Yeah, if they were still, if the Miami Dolphins weren't eliminated from playoff contention, Quinn Ewers wouldn't be starting right now. Them saying that Quinn Ewers gives this team the best chance to win, that's not true. That's not true. And if you believe that, then, and I know Tua has been bad. I know Tua's been bad. But if you really believe that the nonsense they're spewing about Quinn Ewers gives you the best chance to win, if Quinn Ewers gives you the best chance to win, why hasn't he been starting? Why hasn't he been starting the whole time? It don't make sense. If Tua's on the bench strictly to protect from injury and to see what they have in Quinn Ewers, that's why Quinn Ewers is starting. It's not because he beat Tua out. It's not because he's the gives his team the best chance to win. That's not true. Yeah, but Quinn Ewers was one of the greatest quarterback recruits of all time. Only Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Bryce Young were rated higher as quarterbacks. Only 11 players across the country ever had a higher ranking come out of high school than Quinn Ewers. So Quinn Ewers, he was a top prospect. The guy was a top prospect. In 2020, he was a high school All-American, a finalist for the Landry Award. Dude was it in high school. The dude was it. Quinn started 3 years at the University of Texas. The Longhorns were 33-10, making a bowl appearance all 3 years. Again, the guy was successful. He's first in Texas, single season, 300 plus passing yard games. First in Big 12 title, single game passing yards. First in Big 12 title, single game passing touchdowns. I mean, the guy's got a plethora of records at the University of Texas. He won the Walter Camp Payton Player of the Year semifinalist, Maxwell Award semifinalist, Davey O'Brien National Quarterback Award semifinalist. Never brought home the big award, but he was a finalist for these awards. Let's see. This is what someone they were saying about him in the pre-draft notes. He shows exceptional touch and timing on intermediate throws when working from a clean pocket, consistently hits receivers in stride between the numbers. Masterful ball handler who sells play action, fakes with rare offensivity. Oh, man. Freezes second level defenders and creates throwing windows. He's a natural rhythm passer who thrives in 10 to 20 yard range, displays surgical accuracy when footwork aligns with throwing platform. He's a road warrior. This is where he really differs from Tua. He's a road warrior mentality, shows up in the stats. 8 straight wins in hostile environments with a 15-1 touchdown interception ratio. This guy in the most crucial moments against rival teams and hostile environments, he shows up and balls out. The moment's never too big for Quinn Ewers. Quick twitch release allows him to beat defensive backs to spots. Ball comes out hot on timing routes. One of the quickest releases of all the college players. This kid's got a quick release. His dad was a huge fan of Dan Marino. Used to teach him about Dan Marino, show him tapes on Dan Marino. Quick release, super quick release. He demonstrates bounce back ability after adversity, responded in Georgia benching with 3 straight multi-touchdown games. Commands respect in the huddle. Teammates consistently praise his competitive fire and leadership presence. And we've heard that since being here. We've heard that from the guys in the huddle since being here. Now Quinn Ewers doesn't have the biggest arm. He's not gonna throw the ball 80 yards in the air. He lacks accuracy on throws downfield. But I think he can be similar to Tua, the good aspects of Tua. The accuracy underneath. The quick release, getting the ball out, knowing where he wants to go with the ball. Now he got injury concerns too. He's dealt with a plethora of injuries. He's not super athletic. So as much as everybody wants to put Quinn Ewers on this pedestal, I mean, how much different really is he than Tua Tagovailoa? That's why I'm saying that this guy, he's not the answer for me. He's too similar to Tua. He's too similar to me, the Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I hope he brings a different mentality to the game, because what Tua brought to the game from a mental aspect, I'm not pleased with. Tua was not a competitor. Too many instances laughing on the sidelines. You're sitting there on the field, Jalen Ramsey, after you've just been eliminated from the playoffs, when Jalen Ramsey straight trashed this franchise, refused to play for this franchise, threw your head coach under the bus, and you out there joking with him like he's your best friend. You know what I mean? The smoke before the season between Ramsey and coach, and then Tua laughing with Ramsey Monday. Tua gets benched Tuesday. Coach hates Ramsey passionately. I mean, let's be real. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. The face of our franchise out there laughing and joking with a guy that straight shit on our franchise. That's not okay. That's not okay. And I'm sure Mike McDaniel does feel some type of way about that. Like, you went to bat for this dude. You risked your career, your good name for this dude. You went and got this dude paid. And he out there laughing and joking up with a guy that put us in a very serious hole at the very beginning of the season. Jalen Ramsey requesting a trade, refusing to play for the Miami Dolphins. That hurt us bad. We were left with nothing at corner. We were left with a bare cupboard. Now, if it's 3rd and 2, I expect him to get the first and not slide. I expect that from Quinn Ewers too. And that is an added benefit. But again, is he that much different? I beg the question, is he that much different than what we currently have? Is it worth investing in Quinn Ewers when he's not that much different than what we have? And I'll even say this, that as far as accuracy, as far as a ball placement, as far as anticipation, Tua Tagovailoa is better than Quinn Ewers. They both don't have the strongest arms. They struggle with downfield throwing. Neither one is overly athletic. So is it worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah, I heard Theo Weiss isn't getting called up, which blows my mind. I don't know why you wouldn't give Quinn Ewers his number one target in the offseason. Now, I think Quinn Ewers can absolutely be Brock Purdy, but he's not going to be Josh Allen. He's not going to be Pat Mahomes. You know, maybe he comes in and he plays good enough and he can distribute the football well enough and stay healthy and not lose us the game, you know. But for me, that's not good enough for this franchise. For me, I would not settle on Quinn Ewers. I would not settle for that. I would continue to look until I found my Josh Allen, till I found my Pat Mahomes. Blake, and we don't know what he's going to be, but you got a skill set. I mean, you're probably not going to outplay that skill set. I don't think he can be Baker Mayfield. Like, give Baker his credit. Baker's a straight dog. You've never seen Quinn Ewers be that type of player. We knew Baker was a dog in college, going and taking the flag and burying it in the opposing team's 50-yard line. Like, that dude was a dog from the beginning. And I'm glad that you guys are, you got this hopium and you want to look at the cup half full. But let's be real. This dude was a 7th round pick for a reason. He did go from being the top prospect in high school to a 7th round pick. How many yards you expecting? I'm saying at least 200. I don't think so. I doubt that. I think they're gonna lean heavy on the run. Now, Cincinnati does have a bad defense, and we'll talk about that in a second. But they're gonna lean on the run as much as possible. Well, what playmakers do you have that he can get the ball to? You got Jalen Waddle, Darren Waller. Other than that, I'm not impressed with the wide receiving core. I think Nick Westbrook Akine needs to be sat down for the year. Get Tez Washington in there, see what he can do. I think Theo Weiss needs to be called up immediately. What's it hurt? Why not? Why not? We're not going anywhere anyway. Michael says, no respect. Him laughing on the sideline. I'm done. Got your money. Get the fuck out. And listen, I get it. And there's been way too many instances of that. Listen, the writing was on the wall. We messed up. We gave him that huge contract. That was a terrible, terrible move. Terrible move. If we would have just let him play last year, we'd be free and clear right now. If they wouldn't have gave the contract extension, let's be real. Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, and Tua would probably have been gone last year. At the end of last year. We'd have, who knows where we'd be as a franchise right now. At the end of last year when we missed the playoffs, they could have moved on from Tua. They could have moved on from Mike. They could have moved on from Chris Greer. I mean, if we would have, let's be real. I mean, and not saying I'm in love with this dude, but if that would have happened, if we wouldn't have gave him that 5th year contract, if we wouldn't have gave him the contract extension instead of the 5th year, we could have released Tua. We could have got rid of Mike McDaniel, got rid of Chris Greer, and we could have drafted Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart could be our quarterback right now. Our last 7th round pick was Skyler, and he exceeded expectations. Quinn already. What expectations did Quinn Ewers did Skyler? What expectations did Skyler bypass? Tell me what Skylar Thompson did here. What did Skylar Thompson do? Bonnie says, I doubt if Ewers throws for more than 150. This is going to be a run-heavy game, and Ewers will be kept on a leash. Why does everyone criticize Tua for laughing on the sidelines, but doesn't say anything about Brewer, who started it? Bonnie, he's our quarterback. Brewer's played it at all-pro level all year. Tua hasn't. Tua's a main reason we haven't made the players. Brewer's not. And I'm not even necessarily talking about when they were laughing over there. I'm talking about him laughing and joking it up, chomping it up with Jalen Ramsey after the game. Injury report for this week. Jordan Brooks dealing with a foot knee issue. Minka Fitzpatrick dealing with a calf. Isaiah Johnson, a knee. Elijah Campbell, ankle and a knee. Kenneth Grant, shoulder. Jason Sanders, right hip. Darren Waller, arrest day. He should be good to go. But the 3 names on this list you got to worry about are Jordan Brooks, Minka Fitzpatrick, Isaiah Johnson. All 3 did not practice. I would not be surprised if Jordan Brooks sits down. I wouldn't be surprised if Minka Fitzpatrick sits down. You have nothing to play for. Why risk? Why risk injury? Skyler did not get us into the playoffs. Stop. He was a preseason MVP. Preseason MVP. Come on, Miller. Come on. Don't be surprised if Jordan Brooks and Minka Fitzpatrick sit out. Good morning, JD. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, do all those things. Cincinnati dealing with some injury issues. BJ Hill, defensive tackle, dealing with an ankle. Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle, dealing with an ankle. Wide receiver Charlie Jones, ankle. Joseph Asai, ankle. Noah Fah, ankle. They got a lot of ankle injuries. T. Higgins, concussion. He was limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. The first 4 names did not practice. So, the Cincinnati team isn't good against. Their defense is just bad. Their defense is bad. Joe Burrow's in a funk. Listen what you're saying. Skyler beat the Jets to make the playoffs. First off, Skyler didn't do anything by himself. Second of all, we're talking about the Jets winning 1 game, and you want to put them on the, you know what I mean? JD, you know that don't work that way. You know what I mean? You know it don't work that way, brother. You might believe that these guys are getting paid. They should play, but you know that guys ain't going out there and risking it. You know what I mean? They're just not. They're just not. Now, I think for the love of the game, depending on what type of player they are, what type of person they are, obviously some of these guys are going to push themselves and go out and play because they want to play. But a lot of people sit themselves down. So, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they played. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. I guess it all depends. Dolphins offense currently ranked 25th overall in total yards, 303 yards a game. Passing, they're 26th at 181 yards a game. Rushing, they're 14th at 121 a game. Scoring, they're 23rd overall, is averaging 21.1 points per game. They've given up 32 sacks. Third down percentage, they're 27th at 35.7%. And they have 19 turnovers. But the Cincinnati defense is horrible. They're 32nd overall, dead last in yards given up at 369. They're 28th in pass, 245 yards a game. Dead last in rushing yards. They give up a boatload of rushing yards, 157.9 a game. Scoring, they're dead last, giving up 31.2 points a game. Sacks, they're 25th. They're 27th in the league in that. They give up third down conversions 47% of the time. That's 31st in the league. And then takeaways, they have 17 takeaways, which is 11th best in the league. Quinn Ewers has the arm strength to hit Waddle and stride on a go route. That alone is game-changing to this offense. He doesn't have Quinn Ewers don't have that great arm strength. Yeah, if guys got bonuses, yeah, they're going to push themselves to play. They're going to try to get their money. Obviously, if money's involved, yeah, they're going to try to get their money. But just playing the play, you know what I mean? What up, Eric? Grandizer, what's up? Hope all's good with you too, brother. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me. Ewers about the ball. And listen, I hope he does. But limit your expectation. Don't go out there and if the guy doesn't have 3 touchdowns, 250 yards passing, don't go out there and throw shade at him. Be supportive. Don't expect that. If he has a touchdown, a pick, and he looks serviceable, that's a good game from a rookie quarterback making his first start. Grandizer says, love the topic about playing Tua. This team does not learn, and most NFL teams. PHINS did it with Tannehill, and now with Tua, they don't have a backup plan and are scared to draft a quarterback. He threw a 40-yarder while being hit, no step up in pocket or anything. The longest throw all season by Tua was 47. Again, you can't hit Waddle in stride anyway because Waddle's going to jump for the pass. And listen, I'm not saying Quinn doesn't have a stronger arm than Tua. I'm just saying he doesn't have one of the he doesn't got elite arm strength. Quinn Ewers don't got elite arm strength. Is his arm stronger than Tua? I mean, I think my 15-year-old son's arm stronger than Tua's at this point. Let's talk about this Dolphin defense. They have been better. Last week, they did give up 4 straight touchdowns to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't think their offense is all that. So for them to give up 4 straight touchdowns was kind of, I wasn't super stoked about that. Dolphins defense, they're 19th in total yards given up at 334, 13th against the pass at 202, 27th against the run, giving up 132 yards a game. There was one point in time that this team was giving up 174 yards a game on the ground. 174, so they have improved. Scoring, they're right in the middle of the pack at 16th, giving up 23.1 points per game. 13th in sacks with 34. They did release Matthew Judon this week. What does that do for this team? More opportunities for Chop Robinson, obviously, Bradley Chubb. 14th in third down conversion percentage, 38.2. And takeaways, they are 11th with 17 takeaways. Cincinnati's offense, 23rd, but that's misconceiving because Joe Burrow has been out most of the year. But Joe Burrow Joe Burrow in that offense, they scored 0 points last week against the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow's going through this state of depression. He's not happy with his career. He's not happy being a Cincinnati Bengal. He sounds like someone on the verge of either requesting a trade or threatening retirement, or who knows? Who knows? But Joe Burrow sounds like a quarterback dealing with internal struggles. And how will that affect his gameplay? You know, obviously, like I said, he made the comments about not being happy, and then came out in the Cincinnati offense was horrible against a good Baltimore Ravens defense, but not great. I felt like they should have put up points at the very least, and they didn't. They didn't. They got straight skunked. 10th in passing, 226 yards a game. They got Jamar Chase. He's a beast. He can straight wreck any defensive coordinator's game plan. I wish he was a Miami Dolphin. I really do. Oh, it sucks. You know how different this Dolphins team could be if they would have got Jamar Chase instead of Jalen Waddle. Rushing 87.4 yards a game. They're 31st in that. Miami, I think, will shut down their run. It's just if they can stop Jamar Chase. Scoring, they're scoring 22.4 points per game. That's 20th best. They've given up 29 sacks. 41% on third down conversion, and takeaways. They've given up the ball 22 times. So the Miami Dolphins, I mean, they can absolutely win this game. I think. What's the load management look like for Devon Achane? How many carries are you going to give Devon Achane? How many opportunities are you going to give Devon Achane? Or do you really want to see what you got in Jalen Wright? Do you really want to see what you got with Ollie Gordon? I think Miami's going to run the ball, and they should have success running the ball. The Cincinnati's defense is the worst in the league at stopping the run. And I know Achane's trying to get to a certain number, a certain stat number for this year. But at the same time, how devastating would it be to see this kid go down with a severe injury in a meaningless game? That's not, we can't care about what these guys want as far as stats. We pay them to help us win football games. We don't pay them to go out and get 1,500 yards rushing. Now, if you can get that and we're winning and we're competitive, cool. But I can't play you just to play you. If it risks the future of this team, it's not worth it. So if you got to sit Devon Achane, you sit him down. You got to sit him down. Or give him limited carries. I think his load management changes. I really do. I think you're in store for a lot more Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon. Grandizer says if the Fins win out, great. If the Fins lose out, great. Fins, for the most part, either way, these next 3 games are sort of like glorified preseason games, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they are. Joe Burrow is the new Andrew Luck. You heard they might sit Joe. I mean, it would make sense, right, to sit Joe Burrow. Why risk injury? Why risk it? Grandizer says, or can you imagine if this team would have drafted Penei Sewell, then in the second, Creed Humphreys, and in the third, Quinn Menendez? And even when it was said the Fins told Quinn Menendez they were going to draft him, take out Henner Long and put in Quinn, Finns would have had their right tackle, center, and left guard right now. Yeah, I mean, the many missed draft picks, a Chris Greer, right? Now, I think Chris Greer had a really good draft this year. I think Chris Greer did hit on some draft picks, but there's some massive screw ups on his part. Massive screw ups on his part. So what do we expect this weekend? What are you expecting? Again, I'm limiting my expectations. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what this Dolphins team is going to look like this week. Now, I know Stephen Ross made it clear that he's still trying to win football games. What was the conversation between Stephen Ross and Mike McDaniel, though? Did Stephen Ross tell Mike McDaniel he was safe for next year? Or did he? I mean, I think that has a great deal of influence on what this team looks like over the next 3 weeks. If Stephen Ross told Mike McDaniel that he's safe for next year, Mike McDaniel he has more leeway with what he does with this roster. He can try a bunch of different things. He can try a bunch of different players. But if he's still out there coaching for his job, I mean, then you might see a big workload for Devon Achane. You might see Jalen Waddle getting 15 passes a game his way. And I am interested to see what it looks like with Quinn Ewers at quarterback. I'm interested in seeing a quarterback that, is willing to, do the things necessary to win. Because I think those things left Tua. I mean, Tua couldn't win for losing, though. He couldn't win for losing. People would criticize Tua if he ran. No, you got to get down. You're much more valuable than one play. And now that he does the right thing, he dives and he slides and he lives to play the next play, people criticize him because he doesn't get the first down. I mean, again, I think Tua and the Miami Dolphins need to move on from Tua. He's not the answer here anymore. I don't feel bad for Tua. I don't feel bad. Tua's got a lot of money. So I do not feel bad for that man. But I think that man was done wrong. You know what I mean? I think his life isn't the easiest life when it comes to how he's expected to play football with the injuries he's suffered. Grandizer says, Big C, I think Coach McDaniel is safe. He does what he has told. He has an ego, but is different kind, and players seem to like him. It's the way opposite of Flores, Gase, and Philbin to a degree. Warren should have been the pick instead of Grant. I was calling it earlier this year before the draft. I, again, don't believe that to be so. Warren was not the pick. You can argue about Kenneth Grant, but Warren wasn't the pick. Kurt Warner's evaluation of the Pittsburgh game, specifically play design and route construction, was really eye-opening. I got to check that out. I think Tua is on his way to the USFL. We shall see. Big C, as I said in Reason Stream, if Tua does not go back to working out in this offseason like he did in the past, then it's easy come June 1st cuts. I think it's more than his preparation, Grandizer. I think he's hurt. I think that hip's caught up to him. Nick Westbrook, Keeney, red zone threat, just like the culture change bullshit. Nick Westbrook, Keeney would be on the bench. He'd be on the goddamn bench. It's not bad to keep Mike one more year. Not many expectations next year. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be salary cap hell. Salary cap hell because of Tua. If Tua won't put in the offseason work, then it tells the Finns where he stands. Turn the page, draft a quarterback in day 2 or day 3. Again, that's what I'm saying, Grandizer. I think it's beyond that. He can work his ass off in the offseason. You just can't fix that hip. He can't fix that hip. He can't. Eric says, I wouldn't be surprised McDaniels gives Tua a breather, take a step back and watch and be ready to try out next year for number 1 quarterback. Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know. I mean, I'm sure the Dolphins financially would love for Tua to get back to the player they gave that huge extension to. I'm sure they would love for Tua to come in the door and be the Tua of old. They didn't want Tua to fail. I just don't think he has that player in him anymore. Big C, Tua's not hurt. And being hurt would be blessing in disguise, injury settlement, past physical. I don't mean like he has something broken. I mean he has something that I think the hip has lost strength. I think he's lost mobility in it. I think, you know what I mean, natural build up of scar tissue and degeneration of the hip that's not going to show up in an injury. You know what I mean? Big C, man, all Coach McDaniel was run the ball in the Steelers game. He's even ran the Wildcat until someone stopped it in the playoffs. That is so frustrating. I mean, I get what you're saying, brother. That's right. He just don't have it anymore. Eric says hip is ailing him. Yes, 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 yes. Ever since he re-injured it in that Texans game last year, he has not been the same. The reason that the Miami Dolphins were so ho-hum hush about that injury. Remember the end of last year? We couldn't get a straight answer about what was wrong with Tua. We couldn't get a straight answer about what was wrong with Tua. Yes, arthritis in the hip. I'm not knocking it, but watch Tua rework his contract so that it helps the Finns, so they keep him. I am on the fence with him. Why would he rework it to help them? I don't believe he does that. This is the only huge contract he getting. He ain't giving none of that money back. None of it. None of it. None of it. He ain't giving none of that money back. Believe that. This is his one payday. He ain't giving that up. And Grandizer, maybe you can find a trade partner. It's going to be very difficult, and you're going to have to entice them with draft capital. But you might be able to trade Tua to the Saints because they should have a bunch of cap room if you give them a second-round pick for taking on that contract. That's the only way you can go. That's the most beneficial thing for the Miami Dolphins to be able to do is if you can find someone to take on to his contract that's got a shit ton of cap room and you can feed them a high draft pick to take the contract. I feel like we did that one. Did we do that with Brock Osweiler? Did we do that with Brock Osweiler? Bonnie says there's a theory out there that they benched Tua to keep him from getting injured. Yes. It will come out as the starting quarterback next year. I hope not, because it's time to move on. I wish him well, but enough. Well, they definitely, I definitely feel like they moved him to third string 100% so he couldn't get injured, Bonnie. But I wouldn't say that they benched him so he wouldn't get injured so he can be here for next year. I think all bets are off. I would not guarantee Tua Tagovailoa being the starting quarterback next year. I think they're ready to rip the Band-Aid off. I really do. I want to say that we took Brock Osweiler's contract and they gave us draft capital for him. I know it's happened, though. I know it has happened in the past. It's more prominent in like the NBA and stuff. It's more likely to happen in the NBA and stuff, but it does happen. It does happen, and it has happened before. Two and ears are a cult. Somebody is going to take him. Yeah, I don't know how many two and ears are general managers, though, brother. We might have gave them a draft pick to take Tannehill. I'm not sure. Please make sure you hit that like button. I just know it's going to be an interesting time. I do wish the best for Quinn Ewers. Listen, he's obviously got potential, right? He's obviously got potential. I just question how different he is from Tua Tagovailoa. He's not the perfect option for me. He's not what I want for this future because I don't think he ever will be that top 5 quarterback in this league. And for me, in this Miami Dolphins team, I want that elite caliber quarterback. I'm tired of the mediocre, the good enough to be good enough, but not good enough. You know what I mean? Like at some point, it's got to be our turn. Dan Marino cannot be the only elite quarterback we only have in franchise history. And he was a blessing. He truly was a blessing. But at some point, like, when's it come back around to us? When do we get our part 2? You know what I mean? When is our turn to get part 2? And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. And I'm not willing to sit here and settle any longer. I'm not sitting here ready to I'm not going to settle any longer. I'm not going to I'm not going to fall in love with another mediocre to good quarterback. No, continue the look, continue the search. Well, Greasy was sort of considered as an elite quarterback, but he had all the weapons. I don't know if Greasy was ever considered elite. Was he? There are teams out there that would gladly take to. I don't think so, Grandizer. Jets, Falcons, Cards. Who else? To a lesser extent, Saints, maybe Colts. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. Miller, you always coming up with the weirdest ass takes. Kenny Pickett? Kenny goddamn Pickett? That's who you want to try out? No. No. Kenny goddamn Pickett. let's just all thank God that Miller is not the general manager of this football team. Let's all think that. Let's thank God that Miller is not the general manager. Kenny Pickett, you might as well keep Tua. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I would definitely, like I said, I'm not going after a quarterback this year in the draft. So if Quinn Ewers can be a bridge, I think that'd be great. I would try to get a quarterback in the 2027 draft. I mean, in 2027, this is the list of quarterbacks that may be available. You got Arch Manning, Julius Sand, DJ Langway, Lenora Sellers, Jada Mavia, Aiden Chiles. I think the kid from Oregon is going to go back to school. So Dante Moore. Mendoza's going to the Raiders. Mendoza's going to the Raiders of the Jets. Big C, I hear you. I moderate for a popular Jets channel. Fields is horrible. We think we got it back, but they got their quarterback is really bad. I get it, but that contract is just, it's too crazy, bro. It's too crazy. And that's where I'm at, Pagan. I hope Ewers shows some value. I hope he can come out and be serviceable. I hope he can come out and not be the reason, we don't have to win in spite of him. If he can do that in these 3 starts, I think that's a success. I think if he comes out in the 3 starts this year and we don't have to go out there and win in spite of him, I think that's a success. I think that's a win. Now, if he goes out and throws crucial interceptions and we got to win in spite of him, that's a loss. Rivera says if Mendoza goes to the Jets, he's done and a bust. Jets horrible with quarterbacks, especially drafted ones. Listen, at some point, you can't always go by that. They got new people in charge there in New York. So Big C here on the contract. However, some teams are semi to really desperate. PHINS are not desperate. A halfway decent quarterback on the Jets. They are around a 500 to 500 team. Tua's not a decent quarterback no more, though. No, the old Tua would be a boost to them, not the new Tua. You're still picturing the Tua from 2 years ago. The new Tua is not a good quarterback. The new Tua is not good. The new Tua is floating 20-yard passes. Yeah, I agree with you, Grandizer. The Jets would jump all over 2023 Tua. Early 2024 Tua. But Tua of 2025? No way. No one's touching that. Nobody wants that. I'm taking Fields at this point. I'm taking Fields running ability at this point over Tua. And that might sound crazy, but Tua offers me nothing right now. Nothing. And that's hard for me to say because I like Tua. I do. But he has nothing left in the chamber. He has no bullets left in the rifle. I'd rather play the Wildcat at this point with Jalen or with Fields. I'd rather play the Wildcat with Fields at this point. Listen, I get you. I get you. I get you. All right, so let's do a pick 'em real quick. I don't know what to expect from either one of these teams. Again, Joe Burrow, he's going through some sort of depression. Questioning his football career, questioning his playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Miami Dolphins, if Jordan Brooks and Minka end up sitting out, that's going to be devastating. What's Mike McDaniel's game plan? Does he take it easy on Achane because they have been eliminated from the playoffs? What does Quinn Ewers look like in his first NFL start? A lot of question marks, but somehow I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball efficiently against the league's worst rushing defense, and they will pull off the victory somehow, some way. They do need to figure out how to slow down Jamar Chase. He's got over 100 catches again this year. He's unstoppable. In my opinion, he's the best wide receiver in all of football. So slow down Jamar Chase, but I think the Dolphins will be able to control the clock. And they'll be able to run the football, and they should be able to win this football game. So I like the Dolphins to win this game 20-17. And Quinn Ewers, I'm going to say he throws 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 173 yards passing, 67% completion percentage, and he does enough to help them win. He helps them. So that's my belief. Make sure you hit that like button. Please, 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 please. Maybe I'll go live for this one. So we can all watch this together and see what Quinn Ewers is all about. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I will see you tomorrow, Sunday. Who knows? But I'll be around, and I appreciate y'all. And you know what it is. Fins up. Good luck, Quinn Ewers. Hopefully this is the start of a beautiful thing. And again, hit that like button. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And fins up. Peace.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.